So we want to make sure that not only are we lifting up the voices of our LGBTQ folks, but that we're also recognizing that conversations that have happened in the past week are,
and I wish the elected leaders on the other side of the aisle
they may remind us
any language that
how our family reacted. They may remind us of how our friends.
All right, good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's fine. All right, let me make this statement. I've made this statement several times, and I'm going to make this statement again. I'm going to make it plain. This issue here that's being driven, this narrative that's being driven that I have something against the LGBTQ plus community is absolutely false. Look, this is the United States of America. This is not a theocracy. I do not have the right to tell anyone how they live their personal lives. In fact, I am in favor of people being able to determine how they live in their own space and being safe in their own space and being secure in their own persons. And I will fight every day as Lieutenant Governor to make sure that people's constitutional rights, both state and federal, are protected, even if I disagree with those lifestyles on a personal or spiritual level. That's not my job as Lieutenant Governor. It is to protect people's rights, and I will do that every day that I'm in this office. Now, that being said, this issue has been twisted into something it is not about. What this issue is about for me, and always has been, is this. When I stood in that pulpit on that Sunday and referred to filth, I was not talking about any person. I was talking about materials that are being presented to our children that are absolutely inappropriate. These materials do not belong in our schools, not in the classroom, not in the hallways, not in our libraries. And I challenge anyone. I challenge Jeff Jackson. I challenge Roy Cooper. I challenge Attorney General Josh Stein, who should be looking at this issue because this is a legal issue. You can look at this and clearly see that this is quite possibly and probably is child pornography being presented to our children. Attorney General Stein should be looking at this. And I challenge the White House. None of those entities, the only entity that has been saying anything about this type of material being presented to minors in this state is this office. We have been called liars. We have been told we have misrepresented this issue. This is what we're talking about here, folks. This is the filth that we're talking about. We're not calling any person filth. We're not calling anyone anything less than human. We're talking about materials, inappropriate materials that are being presented to our children. And we're talking about those politicians who have demonized me because I'm trying to get this out of our classrooms. I challenge anyone out here to look at this and say that you want your child to look at it or be forced to look at it in a classroom. This is not the only example of these things either. Many of those things we brought up in our task force. We mentioned many of these books. And when we mentioned those books, we were largely ignored by members of the press. We were ignored by members of the General Assembly. And now all of a sudden, people want to accuse me of being the person who's the bad guy. I'm not the bad guy, folks. I'm the guy that's trying to get pornography out of our schools. And so, all of this is centered around this question of whether or not I hate people. I challenge any of you to ever see where I've ever said I hate anyone, where I've ever threatened violence against anyone, where I've ever threatened anyone's children or grandchildren. I challenge any of you to do that. But I'm going to show you some stuff. You know, the Attorney General of the United States has called out the FBI on parents that are going down and voicing their concerns to school board members. He's called them out on them. Well, Attorney General Stein, Attorney General Merrick, I challenge you to call them out on comments like this. And I'll just leave it right here. You just take a good look at it. These are the type of messages that we're receiving in our office. Hateful messages that we're receiving from people.
Many in North Carolina have lost their minds. We have a tremendous lieutenant governor. Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson, a history-making lieutenant governor, the only African-American lieutenant governor in the history of this here great state. And the man is doing a fantastic job. And he's been attacked by these white leftists, they're the greatest racists on the face of the earth. No one is a racist like a white leftist, because they want to promote a program, they want to promote an ideology, they have something that they want to promote, their vision, even at the expense of our children. And the lieutenant governor is standing, and I tell you, he's all man. I thank God for him. I thank God for him. And I agree with him 100%. I agree with his choice of words. He called what they're trying to do in the public school system with our children filth. I think that filth is almost a euphemism to be used to describe the mind-bending techniques that they're trying to apply to children in their formative years, trying to get boys to see little boys now as girls when the boy changes his mind and decides he wants to be a girl. We want to teach them that homosexuality, lesbianism, and all these things are clean, pure, normal, and natural. Want to promote in schools these ideas to our children, where in their formative years, they want to teach our children things that they know that once the children are taught, they can't unlearn it. See, these people know, these folk are wicked to the core. They know how the human mind works. They know that there are certain things that you can see that you can't unsee, certain things that you can hear that you can't unhear, and certain things that you could teach, certain ideologies, certain agendas that you can teach that can't be untaught. The devil will just hook it into their spirits, and they're coming after our children. Well, I want to thank God that the overwhelming of calls and support that's coming in to our lieutenant governor are overwhelmingly supportive. Don't let the news fool you. People support our governor. As a matter of fact, I talked to him the other night, and he told me that the overwhelming majority of calls that's coming into his office are supportive. Don't be moved by those losers that they had the other day during a press conference. Preachers. Listen, lesbians and homosexuals wearing turn-back collars, attacking the man for telling the truth. There's nothing that the lieutenant governor said that is contrary to the Christian doctrine. There's nothing that he said that is wrong. And thank God he told me out of his own mouth that a great number of the calls that are coming in, check this out, are from black women. Black parents, black women calling saying, we didn't know that this is what they were trying to do to our children. And those sisters are saying to our Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson, stand your ground, man. We're for you.